Hey guys, I'm Laura Camby-McCaskill, author of Fallow and Her Keepers, and today I am here in beautiful Talbott. Talbott?
Talbott.
See, I've already
It-
messed up.
No, you haven't because somebody pronounces it that way out there.
So I'm in Tennessee, and I'm here with Randie, the founder of Cows Come Home Sanctuary, and we are going to learn a little bit about them and what they do and meet some of the amazing and beautiful animals that call this place home. Randie, tell me a little bit about Cows Come Home. How did it get started, and what you're doing here now today?
Well, I met Rick in 2006.
Mhm.
I was already mostly vegetarian. I still ate chicken, but so I was a vegetarian, and I meet this guy who was really funny and interesting and nice and kind, and he was a cattle farmer. And so I really struggled with that, but we got together, eventually got married. I moved here to Talbott. The first night I was here, they had taken away calves earlier that day, so there were mothers standing outside the barn, which wasn't that far from the house, and just crying all night long. And I asked Rick, what is going on? And he said, well, we hauled calves off today. And really not a big deal. It's just, to me it was a big deal, but to him it was just a very matter of fact, we took away babies today. So from that point on, I just how am I going to deal with this, But I was also thinking that maybe this can change. Because he's very kind and he's very loving and he loves these cows. He's always loved these cows, pets them, hugs them, cares about them. His dad was hardcore cattle farmer. They're here as commodities. They're here for us to sell and make money on, and don't get close to them, and that's what they're here for. So it was two totally different ways of thinking about them. So that was kind of how I came to believe that I could deal with this long term. So over time you could see that, one was maybe, she's a little old, she needs to stay. And so he would do that. I think he would do that for me mostly. But his dad just could not come to terms with that. It was like, you need to take her off, you need to haul her off. Once somebody was too old, they're not going to be good for what they're supposed to be good for. Never mind that they're mamas and that they've given 12 of their children to you already to make money on. They're done. Get them in the trailer before they can't get in the trailer, and we're done with them. And it was really hard to come to terms with this kind of thing. So he and I talked about it a lot. So we split up in 2013, and I built a house on the family farm because by then I had pet cows, and he had become dad to my pet pig that I'd had when we met. So I built this house here on the family farm, and one day after his dad passed away, and his dad passed away in 2016, and one day in 2017, he was telling me about a calf that he had was going to take to market. And the little guy came up to him and just sort of buried his head against him. And Rick was like, just go. Just go. I can't do it. I can't do it. So he came to me and talked to me, and he's like, this just happened, and I'm really struggling with this. And I think with his dad being gone, it kind of gave him the okay to let those feelings out.
Yeah.
And, he talked to me about how he would drop them off at the stock barn and talk to each of them and pat them and say, don't worry, it's going to be all right. Well, it's not going to be all right. Mm-hmm. He knew it wasn't going to be all right, but he was still trying to comfort them. And he said, just about every time he'd walk back to the truck and have tears in his eyes and choked up. And I believe that. That's just the kind of guy he is. I mean, he can be out here with them, and you'll see him move his glasses and wiping, because it's very moving.
Yeah.
It's very moving, and I think it's still hits him what we've been able to do. Mm-hmm. when I said, well, look, if you're struggling, why don't we just make this a sanctuary? You have to give them all to me. Mm-hmm. Nobody else is leaving, so you can't pick, this one stays, this one stays, this one stays, this one goes. So he agreed to do that. I started filing paperwork and try and talk to a lot of sanctuary owners and things to find out how you go about this. So I filed in October 2017, but as of April 2017, no one left. And I got the paperwork back in, I think it was in April of 2018. So that's how it started, was just him saying, I don't know if I can do this any longer. And
there's nothing wrong with that,
Right.
Just, I feel like a lot of pressure is put upon men. Don't cry, don't do this, don't feel love for an animal. It's okay to do that.
It really is. It really is. And it's one of the really good things about him is he has a lot of feelings, and he loves these cows. He loved them then. Mm-hmm. So it had to be a real struggle for him.
Yeah.
And I could see it sometimes. And, at one point they gave me a cow. She was an older cow, and she was having problems walking. And it's like, okay, can we get her on some kind of birth control? She should not have any more babies. I think at that point she probably had given maybe 13 babies over the years. So she was my old girl, and so we put her on the drug that keeps them from, having babies. And one day I was at work, and Rick's dad called and asked me if I'd heard about Madison, and I thought he was going to tell me she was dead. And he said, she's got a little youngin' up there that looks just like her. Like, whoa. So I raced home, and I ran up the hill, and there he was, and just a miracle. She wasn't supposed to have him, but she loved being a mother so much that I think she willed herself. So here she is with this perfect little baby. And I went up the hill, and I just said, that's it. No, he's not leaving here. And he was the first one that I just put my foot down and said, he's not leaving here. Mm-hmm. No more. He grew up to be 2,800 pounds, and then he had a brother a year later.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So, 2 big boys. 2 great big boys.
So how many do you have here on the sanctuary right now?
There are 52 here now.
52.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and which one is your oldest?
You'll meet her later. Her name is Gertrude. She lives up on the hill here.
Okay.
With 4, 3 of them were rejected, and one of them she just needed to be out of the pasture.
Okay.
So she's got her own little family, and she rules with an iron fist, and they love her.
I like her.
They love her. They needed discipline. They were like little wild, I don't even know what you call them, just wild kids running the streets. And she came along, and wow, they really needed her.
They straightened up real quick.
They straightened up, but nothing like a mama's love, where she just, the first time they got their face licked, I can't do that for them. I wasn't about to.
I would.
No.
No.
I mean, I love them, but yeah, I didn't. So she did, and it just like, so yeah,
Okay.
they've got Mama Gert.
Now, who is your youngest resident?
Our youngest would be,
He's over here playing with the kitty cat.
our youngest would be Claire.
Claire?
Yeah.
Okay.
She is, how old is she, Rick? 3?
I guess so, 3, yes.
She's
I
3.
guess so.
3. Okay. Now, you're on social media.
We are?
You're on Facebook, Instagram.
Yes.
Anywhere else?
No, we have a website.
You have a website.
Yes.
Now, if someone wanted to come and volunteer, are you open to volunteers?
We are open to volunteers.
If anyone wanted to donate to Cows Come Home, they could find links to donate on your websites and through the social media, correct?
Absolutely. We have donate buttons on our website and on our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And this year seems to be more important than ever before because we've got 52 big cows to feed.
Mm-hmm.
And the cost of hay has gone way up. It's going to be almost double this year. We've already been scrambling. This past year has been really, really hard. So hay is going to double in cost. Last year's hay bill was about $17,000.
Wow.
And we expect this year to be probably $25,000. So
Okay.
that's a lot.
So I will definitely put those links in there. You guys stop by and give a donation, give a hi. So if someone did want to visit, they can find all that on your website as well.
They can.
What's the lifespan of a cow?
Oh, we've got a couple 20-something grandmothers here, so
Is there anything else that you'd like the viewers to know about Cows Come Home?
we have the opportunity because everybody stayed. Because everybody stayed, we've got cows of all ages, we've got their children, some of them have as many as 3 children here. And we see the life cycle and how everybody reacts to that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got dads here, so it's not just, everybody thinks that the mamas, the babies need their mamas. But when you have an opportunity, because we took the time to wait it out, we got extra babies out of it, but we had the boys fixed, so they get to stay, and you get to see how important they are and the role they play in the family, because it's a really big role that you don't usually see, because it's usually a mama baby, and that's the most important thing. But we've found out how important the dads are and how emotional they are about their kids, and they have favorites, and they grieve horribly. They grieve as much as or more than the females do. As the patriarch. So it's kind of a cool thing that this is a herd that's been together for, some of them have been together for as many as 10 years or more. There's a lot to learn about family here.
Thank you so much for having me and showing me around and letting me meet all these beautiful creatures. I love them already. And we'll catch you next time.